Big development in the Supreme Court hearing which is underway in the Sushant Singh Rajput case. Vikas Singh, who's a lawyer of Sushant Singh Rajput's family, has now dropped a bombshell in court. He's citing Times Now's Newsbreak. Remember, here on Times Now, we had told you about a party that was held a day before Sushant Singh Rajput's death, where the son of a top Maharashtra minister was in attendance. Vikas Singh has now raised that particular point in the Supreme Court. Madhav is now joining us with the details. Madhav, over to you.
Well, yes, Vikas Singh started his arguments with a bit of a bombshell there, where he has alleged that his chief minister's son has been named in press reports. And then he goes on to say, but I don't want to go into it, I'm not saying it. When he says that, Abhishek Manu Singhvi intervenes, saying that saying it without saying it, to which Vikas Singh retorts, saying that I learnt it from you, Mr. Singhvi. And then, of course, this, of course, is a massive development there, where for the first time inside the court, Vikas Singh, the family lawyer, takes the name of Chief Minister's son inside the court. He also goes on to say that, see who's murdering CrPC. They say there was no complaint. It was given in February. Even before the death happened, it could have been prevented. There was a threat to his life. They refused to register FIR, citing technicalities. Now, if you remember, we had discussed this when, in fact, Abhishek Manu Singhvi said that there was no complaint that was made from February until now. But this is something that is being countered by Vikas Singh, saying that who has been murdering CrPC, taking that very same line, that very same charge right back to the Maharashtra police and the Mumbai police in particular, says that it was not in proper format, but CrPC says complaint can be in any form. WhatsApp and even oral, that had to be converted into an FIR by putting it down in writing. Mr. Singhvi, if you had read CrPC properly, you would not have said this. So some very strong charges that is being made here by Vikas Singh, the family lawyer, saying that Mumbai police murdered the CrPC by insisting on a written complaint in February. Remember, this charge of murdering of CrPC has been made by the Maharashtra government through its lawyer Abhishek Manu Singhvi, and that very same phrase, that very same charge now being countered here strongly by the family, saying that it was not the Bihar police or the family of Sushant Singh Rajput, but in fact the Mumbai police, which has murdered the CrPC by not taking cognizance of the complaint that was made, because it could be in the form of an oral or a WhatsApp complaint, and that should have been taken cognizance of. FIR should have been registered way back in February. However, in this case, FIR has not been registered even until now.
Right now, Kajal, what Vikas Singh is saying in the courts there puts the Mumbai police in the dock further, because he is insisting that the complaint that was filed by Sushant Singh Rajput's family way back in February this year was a warning. It was not converted into an FIR by the Mumbai police back then, citing technicalities. They actually could have prevented Sushant Singh Rajput's death, but they failed to do so.
The legality of this is, of course, being contested right now, and that is why the Bihar, the family actually is insisting that any sort of information of the commission of a crime should have been treated as enough to be acted upon. The Mumbai police, on its part, had tried to say that they were being asked to illegally detain someone without a written complaint, and that is why they did not act upon this complaint, and they had requested for a written complaint. There are established principles, of course, in law which say that any sort of information should be taken as a starting point for any sort of investigation. Why the Mumbai police did not do that is something that they will have to further clarify on, because now it is in the Supreme Court, and the lawyers for the Mumbai police will have to make those points legally also, because as of now we have only heard allegations and counter allegations from the family, from the Mumbai police, from the Bihar government, from the Maharashtra government. But legally, what is the position with respect to this complaint? Why the WhatsApp complaint was not taken seriously is something that they will have to now explain to the Supreme Court in further arguments.
Right now, Madhav, I believe you have more updates of what's really transpiring in the Supreme Court there. Yes.
Yes, and in fact, there are more updates coming in. In fact, as we were discussing a short while earlier, allegation coming in that the Mumbai police murdered the CrPC. That was Vikas Singh, family lawyer. In fact, now, of course, Vikas Singh coming out to say that Mumbai police going in a totally different line to save the real accused. They do not want to apprehend her. This is a very serious charge, saying that there is a deliberate attempt at protecting the real accused, and one can only imagine that this is ostensibly Riya Chakrabarti, though I don't have an exact exact confirmation on that, but one can assume that this is the allegation being made by the family lawyer, saying that Mumbai Police is going on a totally different line to save the real accused. And in fact, Vikas Singh has gone further to cite the Lalita Kumari case and says that if a case has been messed up by one state's police, the other can take over, says Vikas Singh. So clearly, given the fact that the investigation was botched up as being alleged by the family of Sushant Singh Rajput here through the lawyer Vikas Singh, that really authorizes the fact that Bihar police then filed an FIR into this case to investigate this entire matter. Back to you.
Right, those arguments are underway in the Supreme Court. It is the jurisdictional war between the Mumbai Police and the Bihar Police as to who really has jurisdiction, who has the locus standi to continue investigating in this case. The CBI already has taken over. We are continuing our coverage here on this big story. Time for a quick break. I request all my guests and Madhav and Kajal to stay on with us.